This is a tutorial for the 100 board. Normally in our classroom, or the way these are classically made, is out of wood, but to do them at home I made these tiles out of foam. It's just a little bit easier. You can use paper and cut it out. It's just a little bit easier, I find, for them to manipulate. It's just a little easier to hold and pick up. So usually what I will have them do, because it's quite overwhelming to just look through all of these numbers, is we'll start by sorting them out according to what is the first number. So we'll start with the units. So I tell them anytime there's only one number, we're going to put it up here. And then this one has a 6, so it goes around here. This one starts with a 1, so it goes next. This one starts with a 2. We'll make a row of 2s. This one starts with a 3. This one starts with a 4. This one starts with a 5. There are 6s, 7s. Let's see. Oh, and then any number that has a 0, I make its own separate row down here. And then we just start kind of sorting. So you just start and you see what is the first number and you put it in that row. 8s, 2s, and this in itself is actually quite a challenge for children, but it's also a really great way for them to kind of see and understand the patterns in math. You know, they're so used to putting things in order, but this is just kind of finding what the first number is and to look at them as two different numbers and really get to understand place value. So once they have sorted them, this is going to take a long time for me to sort all of them for this video. Once they have sorted them, what they can do is just work with one row at a time, and then it's less daunting. You know, it's a little bit easier for them and they feel like they're succeeding. As this gets easier for your child, you can just have them kind of search the numbers, just flip them all over and search for them. But especially in the first few times that they're doing it, this is a great way to build their confidence with helping them sort it out first. And you can just get them started with sorting the numbers and then have them finish sorting. And again, for control of error, which means that it shows itself, if it corrects itself or shows if it's right or not, is that each of these will have, each row will have 9 numbers in it. So it will all be the same length. So that it's a good way for them to see if they've mixed up any. What is confusing also is the 99 and 66. They tend to get those confused or flip them upside down. And so sometimes they'll have a row that's longer because they'll flip up the 66. They'll flip it over and put it in the wrong row. Okay, so once they get all sorted, almost there. All right, let's see if I can just get the first row, then I can show you that one. I put 11 up there. And so anything with zeros is going to go in the 100 and the zeros row. 30s, 60s. And you know, especially if it's the first time your child is doing this, or if they maybe don't have so much of an attention span, just sorting these tiles out is a big step. And you could even have them do that and then come back to it the next day, or if they just want to do that and then put it away and get it back out when they want to. Let's see, 61, 16. Okay, this is a long process. Sorry. All right, there's our 1. Okay, so then what they're going to do is they're going to just work with this first row. So you can even separate it slightly if you need to. If they if they need to know that, or you can just tell them we're looking for the numbers that we need in this row. So we're going to start with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now they usually know what comes after 9 is 10, and you'll say, you know, where is 10? It has a 0 in it, so it must be here, and then 10. And then sometimes if they don't know the rest of them, you can kind of help them find the pattern and say, well, 10 is 1 and 0, 20 is 2 and 0. What do you think 30 is? If they start getting stuck, then they can see, oh, it's probably 3 and 0. So that's, again, this is just a way that they start to see the patterns in math. And I wouldn't really suggest it or point them out, but they will naturally start noticing, like, oh, all of this row has a 2 in it, and all of the numbers in this row has a 3, and then they can even start noticing the diagonal patterns, and they will find that naturally on their own. So you're just going to continue on by saying, okay, the next row that you're going to work with, they're all the numbers in this row. So even for the younger child, they're able to see this is 1 and 1. So that goes here. Then we have 1 and 2. Goes next, then we have 1 and 3. So they're not trying to think of what is the number 13. They're able to just find the patterns of this is the row that you're working with, and just put them in order. So basically they're still just working with 1 through 9, because it's just they're almost not even looking at that first number initially, and then it's just helping them to really succeed, and it's a really big accomplishment for them to complete this whole thing. 17, 18, 19, and then this is 1 and 0. What do you think 20 looks like? It's a 2 and a 0. So they're going to continue on and complete the whole board and get to 100. And included in the packet is this control chart, which is just a way that they can check their work by themselves if they want to. If you look at it and you can see, if they're able to see, like, oh, I have an extra tile and it doesn't fit here, or something like that, or if you've noticed something and you say, okay, check your work and see if you can find which numbers needs to be changed places. They can use this if they need to, and then afterwards, if they would like to write them in, this is a paper they can use to write them in. And once they've gotten really comfortable with it, there are a few other activities. They can also use this paper, which is kind of like a before and after. And you can even give them the control chart if they want to look at it. It's still quite tricky to even find the number 13 and then see what comes before and what comes after. And continue, so they can fill in this paper.